Hey everyone, happy 2024. Now, even though this is for January of 2024, as I'm always saying, you can watch this at any point in time. The messages are timeless. So if you feel drawn to this video and you're seeing it that it's in a time that is not January 2024, that's okay. You can still get something from it. You may hear my daughter singing in the other room. She and my husband are home and she is listening to one of her favorite songs, so there's that. So just really quick, there's a couple ways you can use this if you're not seeing this in January 2024. As always, the timestamps will be down below in the description box for you to go to each week or to just listen to the general overall message for the month. So if you're seeing this at a time that is not January 2024, you can just listen to the general message of the month, or if you feel drawn to any of the timestamps, like week 1, week 2, week 3, or week 4, or the general message, you can treat it like a pick a card and go about it that way and select what you're feeling drawn to. Or let's say you're in week 1 and it's March of whatever year. Then you can also, if you want to, just click on week 1 in the timestamps and listen to the message and just apply it to the time that you're in. So like I was saying, this is timeless, so you can listen to it at any time. But if you are seeing this in January 2024, what I'm going to do, if you're new to my channel, is I'm going to do an overall reading for the month, the general message, and then I'll get into each week. Keep in mind, this is a collective reading. So take what resonates, release what doesn't. A lot of people may watch this or have different ways that it resonates with them, and that's okay. If you want to book a personal reading, sorry, I got hair in my eye. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you can. The information on where you can go to do that will be down below in the description box. But basically, you can go to my website. So let's jump on in. This is going to be highlighted messages, themes, or information that you need to know. Let me see what deck is this one. This one is the Modern Goddess Tarot. This one is the Past Life Oracle deck. And this one is the Black Moon Lilith Cosmic Alchemy Oracle. So let's go ahead and jump on in. I'm gonna start off with these. Oh no, something black got stuck on my chair. I have to clean that after. I wonder what that is. So I'm hearing Spirit say the worst is over. So already with this being an 8 year, what I mean by that is 2024 adds up to the number 8. Which I'll do a video on later on. I already did ones on the 6 year and a 7 year if you want to go back and look at those. But with it being an 8 year, 8 energy, I do feel like this is going to be a more time of prosperous growth for a lot of people in a positive direction. Prosperity could be many different things. So for some people it's more money, for some people it's more like growth in other areas, ideas, expansion, support. It could be many things that you could begin to prosper in or flourish in a positive light. And also closing out of some cycles that needed to be closed out. The worst is over, is what I'm hearing. So let's see what else comes through. The first message is, we have a message of male or female. Male, female is the first message coming through for the month. So I'm going to read this more intuitively, not necessarily in terms of past life, but you can apply that too if you feel drawn to do so. So for example, some of you may feel like either you or someone around you is dealing with the complexity of finding the balance between divine feminine energy, divine masculine energy, which we all have. So For some, it may be this energy of trying to balance that out so they're not going too far on one side than the other, because you need a good balance of both during this time. So for example, if you were previously in more of your divine masculine of doing, going, trying to take charge of everything, maybe it's time to step into more of the divine feminine of allowing yourself to relax more, to flow more, to receive more, or vice versa. For some people, I'm getting, just reading this more intuitively, this may be more of a battle between like you and someone else who identifies as male or female. Maybe you had an argument, a disagreement. Maybe you're feeling at odds or on different pages. Or maybe your visions for where you see things going just may be going in different directions. And this could apply to romantic partnerships or interests. It could apply to family members. It could apply to friends or even business, however it's resonating with you. But it kind of feels like some of you may feel like someone turned their back on you or wasn't there the way you needed. For others of you, maybe you feel like you are struggling with fully being on the same page, or maybe the duties or balance or responsibilities were off, off scale is what I want to say. Like someone was doing more than the other. And now I feel like it's more of a time, for some people it's going to be more of a time of like coming to more of a solution, or like the scales coming back into balance. And for others of you, and you will know who you are intuitively, it's time to just go ahead and go your separate directions, because you're just not getting on the same page. And these are for the people that have already tried everything. Like you're just not seeing eye to eye. So like I said, you will know who you are intuitively. For some, you're going to come back into balance because maybe there is still an overall energy and desire for both people to work on things or to balance the scales and share the load. And for others of you, you already know you've tried everything and it's just not changing. And so you may be going different directions. Take what resonates with you, release what doesn't. Let's see what else is coming through. Jumping into this one for the overall message for the month. Excuse me. I have a seasonal dry cough that is super annoying, comes back every year. Okay. So I have my whole deck upside down. All right, so I'm not going to read it reverse. Another message is Black Moon Lilith in Pisces for this month. So that's the energy that's being carried. And honor your boundaries is the message that is coming through, which kind of goes with the message we previously talked about. It's also giving that divine masculine, divine feminine energies and balancing those out as well. But honoring your boundaries, you know, with this being an energy of newness, new beginnings, new year, it's time to really actually do what you said you're going to do. And that may mean saying no to certain people, no to certain behaviors. It may mean saying no to yourself about certain things, like, no, I'm not going to keep obsessing over this. No, I'm not going to keep up with this bad habit anymore. You know, no, I'm not going to give into this temptation no, I'm not going to give into this immediate gratification when I know this behavior, this person, this attitude, this way of thinking is just not good for me in the long run, you know, whatever it might be. So honoring boundaries is going to be an important key message for whenever you see this, or for January of 2024, so that, you know, I'm not really a resolution person, but you know, the people that do make resolutions and maybe you do it for like the first week and then you stop, like this time, honoring your boundaries is like, no, I'm not going to give in to that immediate gratification or like quitting as easily. Like I'm going to stick to it this time, maybe, whatever it might be, even if it's hard. Spirit is saying, choose you and the change that you know that you need or want to make for yourself. Let's see what else Spirit has to say for the overall message for the month, and then we'll get into each week. Okay, 9 of Cups. So I'm also hearing that an answer to something you've been wondering about in the back of your head is a no. But whether that's good or bad news for you right now in the moment. Ultimately, it's to lead to more of your true wishes and fulfillment of your true wishes. Like, as the chapters continuing to close, with that being a 9 for 9 energy, the chapter that was now closing out, you're going to be getting more of what you truly want vibrationally, truly desire vibrationally. What I mean by that is, even if something you thought you wanted before, the universe is saying no to, or no to something about, that path, that reroute is going to lead you to something even better, that you will feel even happier with, more satisfied with, more of this energy of achievement with, accomplishment with, down the road. For some of you, this is a great time to continuing to manifest, with it being like the beginning of a new year in terms of 2024, even though, you know, I consider the real true new year to be spring equinox. Like, it's a whole new calendar year, so it's a great time to embrace that vibration of 2024 energy, or the number 8 energy, even if you're seeing this at another time. There's this energy of healing, there's this energy of confidence coming through, there's this energy of it being a great time to like really go after your wishes and put your wishes out there to the universe, especially if you happen to have a birthday during this time. Whenever you're seeing this video, that's just another message coming through. Either way, go after the wishes, but in particular, especially if you have a birthday, like Spirit is saying, like, take those birthday candles seriously. Now let's get into each week. So starting off with week 1, some of you may still be shaking off some of those holiday blues, or seasonal blues, clearing out, purging out old energy. Some of you may just be still releasing some pain, some grief, some sadness, or disappointment with something that just did not work out. Some of you may be feeling separated from someone you care about, or feeling separated from a goal that you really want, or that you feel disappointed didn't pan out how you thought you wanted it to, you know, in the past, or you just feel like you're far away from it. But Spirit is saying, go ahead, feel those emotions, let those tears fall, cleanse out that energy. And once that happens, it's like making way, purifying for the new, the better that will be coming. And, you know, if you are somebody that's experiencing some grief, understand that that comes in waves. Like, there's no timeline on grief. There's no order to it, really. It's going to be different for you. How you're experiencing it may be different than others. But I also see the message of High Priest or Priestess. So you already know, like, you're being shown the steps, the signs, the intuition on how to navigate it. You may be feeling more of a deeper purpose, more of a connection to the spiritual side of things, the spiritual realm. Maybe you're receiving more spiritual guidance from someone else, but more in particular, it feels like this is something that needs to be happening within you, like your spiritual connection to spirit world, however you practice your spirituality. It's getting deeper within yourself, because you are becoming more of an expert, more connecting to source in a way that you really don't need others as much anymore. Like, you can do this yourself, is what Spirit is saying. And you also know, like, you're getting a lot of information and knowing what you need to do. So you also are navigating this path, this journey, and where you're headed next more carefully and more cautiously, because you've learned so much. For some people, I feel like your mediumship or psychic ability is even stronger during this time. And the other message for week 1, I don't even know how to say this particular word. I think it's coagulation. Sorry if I mispronounce it. But soul ascension is happening during this time. And that is like another level of a spiritual awakening. You know, often I hear people say, like, I don't want to have to go through another year of lessons. Well, that doesn't stop. Sorry to tell you, or maybe it's a good thing to let you know, or happily so in some ways, even though certain lessons in the past may have been hard. The spiritual lessons don't stop. The spiritual awakenings don't stop as long as you're continuing to have that growth, because life, that's how life is. There's going to be ups and downs, but different levels to things. So certain lessons may get easier to deal with. It depends on if you're learning the lessons. It depends on how you're handling it. It depends on if you have that desire to grow. So soul ascension is spirit. It's like spirit saying, like, you could be graduating to the next level of awareness, of getting closer to your goals and happiness. And that may mean that there's more ups and downs ahead, more lessons. But as long as you're not refusing to embrace the change, or you have that desire to make the change and not stay in your comfort zone, then the lessons won't be as hard as before. But if you are continuing to just do more of the same, you may have to repeat things all over again. But Spirit is trying to get you to see where you need to go next, trying to help you to evolve into that soul ascension during week 1. Week 2, we have the Emperor, and Spirit is saying it's time to be serious about you. Get serious about you. Don't play about yourself. Take charge. This is your life. Yes, there are sometimes circumstances beyond your control, but the majority of it, how you handle it, and look, there's a bus. I don't know if you guys can see it, a bus on the necklace. Her necklace, sorry, it's like not focusing, but that's a bus right there. And it's giving me Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus right now, which I've never seen that in this card before, but now I see it. So it's like there's a need to have a thirst for knowledge and not be so closed off to certain things, because you're gonna keep learning the lessons like we talked about before in week 1. So how are you going to now take all of that and take your power back? Stop giving it away to others so much. How are you going to take on more of this leadership role in your life, in your career, in your relationships, taking on more of a leadership and accountability in terms of your part in it and how you've been handling things, while at the same time continuing to be open to learning, to be open to seeing different perspectives, because otherwise things can continue to build up and erupt and explode. And for certain people, I'm getting like, sometimes you don't always express what you need to express in the moment, and you let it build up and explode. And then you come across as like, not as understanding or something like that, or impatient. And what's very saying is not to let it explode on that level anymore. For some of this energy is also, I'm feeling like, what you may be seeing in more of the collective, like the world. Like you may feel like there's a lot happening, exploding within the world, and it's chaotic. And some of you may be feeling drawn to take a stand with something, or to take your power back, or work with others to get a word out, a message out, whoever needs to hear that. And so I take that as like Spirit is saying, okay, now's the time to do the research and figure out how to go about that. We also have for week 2 the message of forgiveness. So some forgiveness work is taking place. For some of you, you're learning to forgive yourself. For some of you, you're learning to forgive others. Not because you want to always reconnect or let them back in your life, but more so to clear out that energy that is stuck in you. You can still forgive someone and never ever deal with them again. And some of you that you need to do that. For others of you, this is energy of like making peace. I'm also feeling this message of, for some of you, you're wondering if someone who has transitioned over is still upset with you, or if they understand why you did something when you did it, and they want you to know that they're at peace with whatever took place. or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe you're forgiving them. And then I'm also seeing the message of Black Moon Lilith in Taurus. That is the energy coming through for week 2. And you are worthy is the main message coming through. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? So like, know that you are worthy of love, of the true love you deserve. For some of you that need to hear that. And that applies to any kind of connection in your life, romantic, friendship, family, business. If you're not treated the way you feel you are worthy of, then either work on it mutually, or if you've again been doing the same thing for so long and nothing's changing, then it may be time to choose a different path and open up to something new that can see your worth. And if someone doesn't see your worth now, in whatever area of life and whatever kind of connection that is, and maybe even if it's you struggling with seeing your worth, Spirit is trying to let you know that it's time to know that you're worthy. And once you really have that epiphany, you can really blossom and grow. And for some of you, you've been struggling with self-esteem, and that beauty is going to come from the inside out. And people will be drawn to that confidence once you really embrace it. Like, it's almost like once you begin to see the beauty, the worth inside, your physical appearance will look different to others, because it's an inner glow that shines through. And also that for some of you, when you go back to that, taking accountability for how you're handling things or the leadership in your own life, and that confidence energy and forgiving yourself or others, this energy of rebirth and glow is really going to shine through in week 2. And also for some of you, it's time to get back to something that feels like romantic or romance energy, or whether that's planning a date with someone else or going on a date, whether that's taking yourself on a date or doing something that makes you feel taken care of, whether that's, however that's coming to you, to romance, to embrace romance, or to romance yourself. That's a message that's coming through as well. Think of it like this too, like a rose, as beautiful as it is, it also has thorns. That's a protective layer. So you can't let everybody have access to you in the same way. They don't deserve that. Not everybody deserves the same level as access to you, no matter how much they feel drawn to you now. Going into week 3, we have the message of Egypt. So for some, this may apply to something that's going on within this area around Egypt, some major changes that are happening in or around the area of Egypt, or in connection to. For others of you, this is more of a message of you being drawn to the culture of Egypt, the history of Egypt. Maybe you had a past life in Egypt, or maybe it's just something that intrigues you and you want to learn more about it. Embrace that. I'm also seeing this as deep knowledge coming through, like knowledge that some of you just happen to know on a psychic or intuitive level that goes back. Like maybe it's downloads you're receiving from source about the history of something, or the knowledge of something, or the advancement of a community or a society, and how I'm getting this message of how it's linked past to present and future, how it's all linked. Almost like that energy of getting something about time travel. Now, this is not going to resonate with everybody, but I'm getting something about messages in relation to time travel and how it's all linked, or maybe past lives as well. During this time for week 3, that's clicking that it's connected to this area or that culture. And for others of you, I'm feeling like this is more like in terms of world events that are happening in connection to this area or this culture that you feel drawn to, or maybe you just want to learn more, like I said, about the history of things, educating yourself. What I'm also seeing with week 3 is we have the sun, your soul's purpose. So week 3, you're beginning to feel more guided towards what your purpose is. What your purpose is in terms of this next chapter. We have many purposes in life. You don't come to earth and just have like, oh, this is my one purpose. That can change, it can evolve. And maybe it's many different things that you're meant to accomplish. But you're seeing one or more of those. You may be seeing how it's evolving. For some of you, you may be beginning to see more of your purpose in a connection you have, or a role that you've been playing, or a community. I'm also getting this energy of like more of you speaking more firmly, like communicating more clearly what's on your heart, like your throat chakra and your heart chakra being more linked and being more expressive. You're beginning, some of you, your view or purpose of what's important in life and this lifetime and what's happening with Earth and the world is beginning to change as well. Like your perspective is changing. You're beginning to see Earth differently. You're beginning to see or feel like what's important to you while you're here is changing a bit. And this may mean, I'm still getting something about like past life connection coming through, being felt. This energy of, for some of you, this energy of like reincarnation. And for some of you, this is more in terms of like you really are receiving messages about actual reincarnation, whether it's you or about someone else that's important to you during this time. And for others of you, this is more of like how you're reincarnating into different versions of yourself in this life. I'm also seeing Queen of Wands coming through for week 3. So embracing more of, I'm getting the weirdo side. So whether that's embracing more of the weirdo side of yourself, whether it's embracing more of the weirdo ideas that someone else has that maybe you never paid attention to before, but now you're like, well, maybe there is some, what's the word, like merit, maybe there is something to this that is real. For some of you, this is more of like embracing some truth and some of the conspiracies that maybe you hadn't, either you didn't believe or didn't want to believe before, but now you're seeing some truth in it. For some of you, this is more of a confirmation of conspiracy that you're seeing, that you felt before, and now it's like, oh, I knew it, it's coming about. And for others of you, this is like really embracing more of your magical side, your witchy, wizard, warlock side of things coming through, standing in your power and your confidence, and the ideas are flowing, really flowing through you. The inspiration is really flowing through you, creativity, inspiration to take next steps and grow. And it's almost like this energy of fearlessness is taking over to some level that is needed in order to continue to expand and change things. And there's some shock that I'm feeling when it comes to some of these realizations for some people, but it also feels like once that settles in, there's an excitement that's following for the next chapter. Going into week 4, there's a theme around authority figures. Authority is a theme throughout the month I'm picking up in different segments, but for some of you, this is, again, you being your own authority figure. For some of you, you may be waiting for some information or a message from someone that you consider to be an authority figure, a institution, some form of government, something like that. You may be waiting on some news to come through, or a change to happen, however it's resonating with you. But there's a theme around authority figures and how it's impacting you in your life or the environment around you, or even the collective, like the world. But what I'm seeing with this is that sometimes, in order for things to change, like there has to be a collective shift of removing what was feeding the negativity. And what I'm getting from that is like, you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting the same results, because clearly there's something that's been happening, a same way of doing things that is not changing anything, because the same kind of people keep getting put into authority, or maybe you're allowing the same kind of people to take authority in your life, again meaning different things for different people. You have to make an extreme change and do something very different than before in order for things to get a different result. I really want to go deeper into that, but for YouTube purposes, I feel like I can't fully, but yeah. I also feel a lot of people during this time, there's going to be a lot of exposure of people that maybe some felt or looked up to as an authority, and now that image is falling, and realizing that we have to stop putting others on such a pedestal. I'm getting this energy of like justice, like a justice or a verdict being delivered, whether that's literally or like more in the metaphorical sense. What I'm also seeing here is this exaltation. Sorry if I mispronounced that word. But Master Manifester is the message for week 4. So Spirit's wanting you to remember that you are the Master Manifester during this time. You have a power to create where you're heading next. And that also goes back to the message of not needing to put others on such a pedestal anymore, because there's this needing a remembrance, or needing to remember that your future is being created in the present. So if you want things to change, it starts now in whatever direction that is for you. So maybe it's doing a ritual for yourself. Maybe it's shifting up a habit or a routine that you've had to begin to make a change for your future. Remember that you're the master manifester of your own life during this time, taking your own power back. And there's like a role reversal I'm feeling either happening during this time or soon to come, where it's like the power dynamic is shifting, where maybe those that were not seen and unseen before are now getting more power, and those that were in power are now falling a little bit, or seemingly having less power. We also have the Chariot for week 4. So what I'm getting from this message is not to see yourself as limited, no longer seeing yourself as limited, but finding ways to still get to where you want to go, or want to go, needing to go, want to go, desire to go, despite what you thought were limitations or holding you back. Moving in balance and courage, feeling inspired. You see how there's a fire on her shirt, like on her chest? It's like that fire being lit within you. Is like, even just this, for example, some people may say, oh, this person has a handicap, but does she look like that's holding her back? No, she looks determined. She's like, y'all said I couldn't do it, but I'm about to do it. That is the vibe that's coming through, and apply that to whatever area of your life that is coming through. Not even though there's still maybe some setbacks, or maybe more difficult in certain ways for you to get to where you want to go for certain reasons, it doesn't mean you can't get there. It means it might take you longer. It may mean that there's a reroute or a different way, an adjustment that has to happen before you get there. It may be you may get there sooner or later than others, but you will get there when you're supposed to. and in the way you're supposed to is what's coming through. You've already been going through, or maybe still going through, the ups and downs of things. You may still be having your days of greatness and then days where you feel like you're struggling, but you're still pushing through. And I think that's beautiful. That fire is lit within you to make that change, to make that move, to travel that distance, however that's resonating with you, whether it's literally going or more symbolically. So that's what I have for you guys. Comment below how it's resonating with you. Like this video, comment, subscribe if you want to. If you made it this far, send a fire emoji. And if you want to, like I said, you could always book a personal reading with me. The information is down below in the description. Where you can go to do that. I will get to the 8-year video coming up, and I hope you guys are ready to embrace this year that feels like achieving some greatness and overcoming battles. Bye.